Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Watchpoint Alpha Weekend Tournament Season 6. I'm Bantoinette, and I am joined today by Final. Say hi, Final.
Hi, Final.
All right, so we have a wonderful, exciting match today. This is going to be between Ramen, Renegade, and Cryptic in our first round here. Ramen Renegade proved themselves worthy in our last tournament. They placed pretty high, didn't end up winning, but still placed, I believe, within the top 3. They proved to have really good comms, really good bunker comms, and should be able to do really well. But Cryptic is new to our scene, and they are definitely a force to be reckoned with. So this is going to be an extremely interesting and exciting match. And we are just going to get right down to it. Busan is our first map here. The map, again, is going to be Busan, Gibraltar, Horizon, Numbani, and Lijiang Tower as our tiebreaker. So it is the same maps as the 3 p.m. game if you were there to watch that. This is going to determine who is going on to try to get to the finals and who is going to be demoted to our losers bracket. So stakes are high. If the team loses here, they are not eliminated entirely from the tournament and they still get a chance at the ultimate win. So it really is anybody's game here. We're still waiting on both teams to get the ready here. Final, what do you think we're going to see here on Busan?
I think, especially with the information on Ramen Renegades, bunker compositions are very strong now, and especially when you're running them on maps such as Mecha Base and Sanctuary. Downtown is a little bit harder. You might see people start favoring double snipers dive, but bunkers should be able to dislodge compositions such as that. But people may favor the high ground there on downtown especially. But bunker comp should be very strong, and then you might see if one team starts dominating with it, the other team might need to pick it up. Because as of right now, pretty much bunker is the go-to composition to try and beat.
Yeah, bunker is extremely strong in this meta right now, and this is pre-222 lock as well. Obviously it's not in the live game, but we are going to continue having unlocked tournaments here. So we are on downtown first here. This is probably my personal least favorite map of the series in Busan, but it does lend really well to some really interesting compositions. So I'm extremely excited to see what we end up getting here.
Yeah,
just
map knowledge favors you very strong on downtown Busan, because you can play heroes that would generally be considered pretty bad here because of the long sight lines that snipers and other hit scan heroes can have. But if you have the better map knowledge and know where you want to be playing, Pharah can be very strong here as well.
And it looks like we are going to be getting a Pharah on the side of Cryptic. Oh, just swapping to the Doomfist. It looks like Cryptic is going to bring us a Doombra comp. And we are going to get a double sniper comp here from Ramen Renegade. So not really what I expected at all. It's a lot tankier than I am used to seeing here on Busan. But let's see how it goes. Looks like we're getting a little bit of a Rhine v Rhine battle here. Both Rhines just swinging into the enemy right now. Both teams just sort of poking at each other. This is a very interesting fight here because the frontline tanks are the same. They're both getting a lot of support. There's a lot of sustain right now. First pick goes to Gummy, taking out Dix Enormous on the Reinhardt. But it looks like Notorious is going to be the first one to cap here. Ramen is taken out by Kool-Aid Guy. Low Main takes out Wolfric. Both Lucius down. Ramen Renegade's still the ones, however, who are going to win the fight here. They are going to cap point A and start the progress.
I might need this later.
Yeah, you're gonna need to see a swap from Cryptic here. It's gonna be very hard for Doomfist and Somber to be able to get in on these double snipers, and you see they are swapping now because they need to be able to take the high ground away from this Widowmaker, especially because she just right now is completely uncontested.
Yeah, right now Orbit is kind of going around scouting a little bit, not really seeing as much farming that EMP right now. Looks like they're looking for a hack instead. Kool-Aid Guy is going to be able to take out Lone Main, which is a huge pick, especially in this double sniper comp. And Ramen Renegade is just going to start falling here. A lot of ultimates did come out here in order to take the point, but they are coming up on an EMP right now, so this is going to allow them to have a bit of an advantage coming in. But Ramen Renegade is bringing in a lot of ultimates this fight, so assuming that they use them wisely, they may be able to keep their point progress.
Yeah, Ramen Renegade's a quick swap to McCree. McCree's gonna be heavily favored versus a composition like this, has the ability to be able to shut down Sombra and make sure she doesn't get a lot of value. Sombra coming out with a massive EMP here though.
And they are able to get all 6 people in that EMP. Absolutely huge, really good timing there by Orbit. And just on that ultimate alone, that is enough for them to be able to win that fight and charge up the rest of their ultimates. Really good economy there from Cryptic. Ramen Renegade did not use any ultimates there as well, so they're actually coming in with the ult advantage into this fight.
Yeah, Cryptic playing this very, very well. They're going to be able to snowball ultimates into further ultimates here. From that EMP, they were able to build up a lot of ult percentage onto the Genji here. Genji's going to have Blade very, very soon, and against this comp, and no really strong defensive support ults yet from Ramen Renegades.
Yeah, now Low Main and Orbit are both going to be taken out almost simultaneously. When Grab does come out for Gunny but doesn't get anybody, he comes out from Wolfric, able to keep his team alive as they poise goes in. Blades getting Udon down. Looks like Ramen Renegade is going to just start staggering here, and they did bring out the beat, they did commit it. Tamago is going to take Astra out, so this is definitely leaning towards Ramen Renegade's fight now, especially with those respawns coming back. But Ramen's going to be taken out by Wolfric. A punch in the face is going to prove to be deadly here. And the respawns are coming back from Cryptic with all of that mobility. So Ramen ended up committing quite a few really important ultimates. It looks like they're swapping their comp up here, though. I guess we're getting a... I don't even know what they're trying to do here. I guess a 4 DPS. Udon's dragons come out, but I don't know if they're going to be able to touch. Alright, it looks like the ball does touch here. Taking the overtime clock. Lucio is going to dive in, trying to keep this alive, but both Tamago and Ramen are going to go down. They are trying to contest the point right now, but at this point, it's just staggering out. Cryptic was able to hold on to this point. Udon, unfortunately, is not able to continue the contest here, so downtown is going to go the way of Cryptic.
I think Ramen Renegades was more focused on getting towards the point when they probably didn't think they had as much time as they did to be able to get back to point effectively, so they tried to swap to as many high mobility characters as quickly as possible and hope to just out DPS Cryptic, but Cryptic just had the better composition versus them, so they're able to just continue into that fight win. And it was a very messy fight before they ended up having to swap. Ramen Renegades should have had the advantage there. There was a lot of mistakes coming out from Cryptic's side, but Cryptic just was able to make sure that they didn't get punished.
Alright, so we are going to be here on Sanctuary. Yeah, Busan. Looks like we're getting an... Okay, I don't even know what the kind of composition this is from Ramen Renegade. A Winston, a Hog, Mercy, Tracer, Ana. This is just some weird stuff. Looks like we are going to get a more standard Arista Hog comp here from Cryptic. There's a lot of spam going between these compositions right now, but Cryptic is going to be the first one to fall, taking 2 out, including Mercy. They're going to fight back and take 3 almost simultaneously, but unfortunately this is going to end up being Ramen's fight. Ramen, however, has not capped the point yet. They just need to go tap the point for a couple more seconds to get that progress. So Cryptic is going to be able to recontest here soon. Now they are starting to stage back up and get ready. Orbit is going to get staggered out by low main here, so it is going to take them a little bit longer because they really do need that Hanzo. Right now, Udon is starting to spam into that Orisa shield, trying to take out Dix Enormous, making it difficult for him. But they are able to sort of zone that far out. Far is going back and getting heals. So right now they're starting to get ready for that next fight, going around and moving their bunker over to the side. Ramen Renegade is playing a little bit split right now though. Gummy and Tamago are both going to go down, but Udon is going to take out Wolfric, and losing that Mercy in their composition is huge, especially now the cooling guy is out. So while Cryptic are attempting to take this back, just as I was about to say, I don't know if they can do it. They get those picks on Ramen and Udon, able to take this fight from them. Looks like Gummy is sort of spin to winning over there, but this is just such a weird fight. I don't even know what's going on. They're just sort of trading when they probably shouldn't be. Ults are being committed. Ramen didn't have a full 6, so they're just kind of staggering themselves out right now because Cryptic is fully back with those respawns. They're just staggering even further. Udon is going to commit Barrage, but is going to be taken out. Cryptic still has the man advantage here, especially with that res coming out from Wolfric. Dragons are committed by Cryptic here. Tamago is going to be resurrected, but Ramen Renegade is going to have to back up. Final, what's going on?
Ramen Renegades is pretty much trying to just brute force their way into these fights, trying to use some ultimates and get something out of here, but they're just at a massive comp disadvantage coming out from Cryptic's side. McCree is able to deal with a lot of what Ramen Renegades has on their side, especially with the Pharah and the Tracer, and then they just have a much tighter team comp on Cryptic's side, and Cryptic is using the map geometry itself to their advantage to be able to zone out and not give very good sidelines to the Pharah and be able to deal with this very, very well. Transcendence coming out here able to immediately dissipate the dive coming out from Ramen Renegades and just absolutely negating this, and this just keeps on going in their favor. Pharah's not able to do anything, Tracer can't get in safely. A swap's now finally coming out, but it may be too late for Ramen Renegades here.
Yeah, and this is sort of what's difficult here is they're running a very divey comp, but they're Cryptic is also kind of running an anti-dive comp here. So they really just were not getting any value, and then they were also kind of committing when they were staggered out too. They were never committing with a full 6. They are not going to be able to touch here, and Busan is going to go the way of Cryptic.
It's very hard for the dive comp to set its heroes in the spots that it wants to, especially with having a Pharah who is going to be zoned out, and her job is going to be much harder to provide that necessary shield break, or be able to even get an HP advantage in these fights against Cryptic. So Cryptic just played that very, very well, used the map geometry in their favor, and just did bunker things essentially, and completely negated anything that the dive comp should have done. If Ramen Renegades is a more favored bunker team, I would suggest playing bunker, because it seems like Cryptic is more than willing to be, to play bunker, especially attack bunker.
That's why I was so shocked that Ramen didn't try playing bunker into this, because bunker v bunker is kind of becoming the new meta here.
Yeah.
And they played so much bunker last season. Considering that they did so well when they were doing that, I am shocked that they didn't try to bring it into this season as well. I do wonder if we're going to start to see it a little bit more on our next map. We are going to be going to Watchpoint Gibraltar coming up here. This is a much more favorable bunker map, and I guess maybe Ramen Renegade is less familiar with Busan. Busan is a newer map, and people still don't completely understand it. It is a very difficult map to play really well. So I wonder if they just sort of got caught up in the fact that it's very typical for people to play a divier comp or play Wrecking Ball and 3 DPS rather than sticking to what they know.
Yeah.
So we are going to be on Watchpoint next. We are waiting for a couple of swaps from Ramen is requesting King's Row next. I do not blame them. Unfortunately, King's Row isn't until a later round. So we are getting some swaps in from Ramen Renegade right now.
Yeah.
What do you think we are going to be seeing here on Watchpoint Gibraltar?
I think bunker can be played here. It gets severely worse transitioning onto second point if you have no ultimates. So generally, to make sure you don't get massively snowballed, it is okay to run dive here, but it is a little bit harder to attack onto a bunker composition that's pushing the payload. So if you would have to play much smarter, but going the bunker v bunker matchup as soon as you see it is going to put you in a more favorable position. Pretty much none of the other main tanks versus a bunker comp are very, very strong. There's a lot of just slight changes that needs to be made, mostly in the DPS role, that kind of just makes a main tank's job even harder. Like if you swap towards a May or a McCree, it makes Winston much harder to come in, as well as Wrecking Ball. And then the distances that you have to close with a Reinhardt makes it very, very weak for Reinhardt to try and go into. And then when he finally closes the distance, his shield is probably either already broken or is close to being broken. And then basically he's just becomes a 500 HP ult battery, much like Roadhog. So probably bunker v bunker is what people should be heading towards, or if they feel like they can take the dive matchup. Dive double snipers is pretty strong here on first point. Setting up here, controlling tarp and blue box especially.
Yeah, we saw in the last round, I mean, I did play in last round, but we did see a lot of double sniper here with a more bunkery composition. So running like the Reza Hog with some snipers, we saw a lot of that coming out of Trapezoidal Earth Society and Kinnipak Esports. I don't know how to pronounce that city name. Whatever that university is. But this does give a lot of flexibility, and now this is a lower SR tournament. This is generally plat through diamond SR, so we have a lot less of a meta here. As we can see from what's coming out for Cryptic here, they are swapping off of their Mimi or comp right now, but you never know. We are going to get a 2-2-2 coming out from Ramen Renegade. It looks like we're going to get a Sombra and a Genji along with some dive tanks here, which I think could work. I'm excited to see how they do this defense, especially against what Cryptic is running here.
Attackers incoming. Stop the payload.
Coming out here with dive on both sides is going to be very, very strong. Both teams just jockeying for a position early. Cryptic coming out here using the jump and soft diving, but not really doing anything. But it's scaring Ramen Renegades enough to where they're backing off. Just a bunch of trades of cooldowns happening.
And them going into that tunnel is also a little bit dangerous, especially with all that fire rockets coming down. It looks like Notorious is starting to get a ton of ultimate charge here. Already halfway to a barrage just within the first 30 seconds of the match. They're trying to contest this fair right now, but they don't really have anybody who can do it easily. The Sombra definitely, but if the Pharah stands up high enough, then they are able to get away from it. Notorious is going to be taken out by foe here, but is going to be resurrected, so Cryptic is just going to be able to continue to get cart progress, especially since Kool-Aid Guy was just down there contesting the cart the whole time while Ramen was stationed up top, so they were able to get it through that choke there, which is huge for Cryptic. So right now Cryptic is just sort of poking out Ramen Renegade, trying to put some holes in their defense. Tamago is going to go down to Notorious's barrage. One kill for that ultimate, which is obviously worth, especially now that Ramen goes down to Kool-Aid Guy. Dragons come out, so they're zoning people back so they can continue to get progress on this payload. Right now, Ramen is just sort of waiting to recontest at the last second. You can see Gummy is in position to do so. Gummy is diving up, trying to keep the bar a little bit and just keep this stalled out. Nanoblade comes out, the Transcendence will be popped. Dixie Normus is going to take out the enemy Mercy right now. Ramen Renegade just continues to fall to Dixie Normus. I'm going to resist making any jokes involving that name right now for the family show. Kool-Aid Guy is going to take out Ramen, and Gummy is going to go down as well. EMP comes out from foe here, and it does hack nearly the entire team, but there really isn't going to be that much follow-up, and foe is going to go down to Kool-Aid Guy. Kool-Aid Guy will go down, but it's not really going to be enough here. Kool-Aid Guy will be brought back up. Dixie Enormous is going to take out their Mercy once again. Ramen Renegade is starting to stabilize here, though. This is a very long and drawn-out fight, and it is just sort of making Cryptic start to stagger themselves out. Shirataki does go down, but Cryptic is sort of playing patiently and waiting for themselves to get re-established here. They are going to take Tamago out as well. Those are some long respawns, so if they can start to push in now, they do have an advantage. Looks like they're waiting out Notorious's pack that came on himself. Notorious does have Barrage once again here, probably looking to use it for this next fight. Dixie Enormous diving onto their tank, getting out a lot of creep, but unfortunately is going to be taken nearly dead, so they are going to go down. Dixie Enormous does take out Shirataki, so Cryptic is starting to come in with the advantage now, but this is very much still winnable for a Ramen Renegade. Huge hack on Notorious, but he was going to be taken out by Orbit. Dixie Enormous goes down, but Cryptic is going to continue getting these kicks. Right now they have a massive advantage, it's just going to be finalized with this barrage. All they have to do is get Gummy out of mech. They are going to throw their Diva Bomb, get a free mech here, but it doesn't matter because they're going to push the payload. So now Gummy is just staggering themselves out really badly, just eating that ultimate charge. Very unfortunate stagger there for Gummy. Cryptic is going to start on the second phase of Watch Point here.
Yeah, coming in for this second point retest, Gummy not having that Diva Bomb is going to make it a little bit harder to stop this early snowball that Cryptic is going to be having. Cryptic keeping this far is going to be much harder, but it seems that they're not getting as punished as badly because Gummy seems to be slightly lost in how they want to be answering this triple DPS composition, not knowing exactly what to do and playing very, very passive. Gummy getting knocked out here, Astra just picking off people left and right, dealing off a lot of damage, and they're just getting completely snowballed off this map, not able to slow down this overwhelming DPS that's coming from Cryptic's composition.
Yeah, and while Cryptic's Pharah definitely becomes more vulnerable, they also are getting a lot of appeal. You know, there's a lot of pressures being put onto the counters, namely Gummy and Foe, that would be trying to deal with the Pharah. So it makes it a little bit easier, especially with that Mercy pocket. And we see that Pharah is getting a ton of value, putting out a lot of damage, but the rest of the team is doing great here too. We see that Asher got that final blow there. Kool-Aid Guy with his Hanzo is just getting insane dragons here and getting a lot of ult charge. EMP gets 2, but not a lot of follow-up. They sort of back off and wait this out. Oh, translocating back up to high ground here. Sort of getting out.
It might have been better to have committed the hack instead of an EMP there to try and reactionary play towards that Pharah ultimate because they had no ability to follow up on it, so ended up wasting that ultimate there.
Yeah, and that's such a powerful ult to waste too. We can see that Ramen's now getting snowballed, and this would be a great time to be able to use it now that they're around that corner. Or even having it for this last fight. EMP is just such a strong ultimate. Looks like Foe is going to swap to the Ashe here. Dixie Enormous sleeping on the job and to the side. In a very vulnerable position, not be surprised if he gets picked here, but he is going to be able to jump out and get healed back up. Ramen's just sort of staggering themselves out once again. Like on Busan, I think that they think they have a lot less time than they really do to go and contest.
Pass into the iris.
So they are going to get a very quick snowball here. What do you think Ramen has to do in order to sort of make up in their time bank and hopefully secure this map?
Initiating match.
I think their best bet is going to stick onto something that's going to counter Cryptic's composition very, very cleanly and answer it. And if Cryptic's going to be going towards more triple DPS compositions or bunker, just running bunker themselves, especially on this attack here, because then they can set it up to where it forces Cryptic to dive onto them, and then they just have an advantage there already because the cooldowns are going to have to be expended to get into them in the first place. And it's going to make their job much easier, and then they just get to take a skill matchup, which hopefully they feel confident enough to take and try and win these fights. And especially if what Cryptic does roll out on a defense bunker here, you're not going to be able to dive into this. You're just going to be smashing your head into a concrete wall here, and it's not going to be fun. Playing against bunker isn't fun in the first place, but it's going to be even less fun if you try running dive into this.
Yeah, for sure. It looks like that's exactly what they're gonna try to do.
You can go triple DPS here. It's a little bit harder, especially with the angles and how tight bunker can be playing on this first point here, but you're gonna need to see an immediate swap from Ramen Renegades right here.
Yeah. Oh, Gummy getting hooked and demeched almost immediately. This is a huge problem. You really need that Diva Matrix here if you're going to be running dive. Lots of vulnerability here to the spam that Cryptic is dishing out. They are going to get themselves safe. Gummy's going to be able to get back in mech, thankfully, and be able to continue. But Gummy's going to be immediately denecked. There's just so much damage coming out between the Hog, the Orisa, the McCree, and the Hanzo, especially with that Discord orb. There's just a lot of coordination on those pulls. The old oink and yoink, or the yoink and oink, if you will. Looks like Kool-Aid guy is going to take out Tamago. There's sort of a bit of swapping here in terms of the kills, but Cryptic is coming out on top. Gummy is looking in danger of getting staggered. They are going to be able to escape here. Kool-Aid guy is going to go down, so if Ramen wants to start contesting, this would probably be a good time, especially now that the respawns are starting to come back. But Shirataki is going to be staggered out even further, so they're not really able to get their full 6 recontest here. The cart still is at the bottom as well, so while they certainly can dive and use this advantageous map position and then go back to the cart, the fact that they didn't really push it past that choke isn't ideal for them, because that's also going to mean that Cryptic will be able to come back in and recontest, and it is so hard to bust up this bunker with what Renegade is running. Mago taking dangerously low. Back up, Shirataki taken out by Orbit. Gummy gets demeched and Tamago gets taken down. The tank lineup is essentially gone. We can see that they're going to get punished for that with the ultimate usage from Cryptic. But even though a couple of ultimates came out, they still have 4 ultimates on the board for the next fight, and Ramen Renegade really only has 1. They're going to have another 2 coming up very shortly. Probably going to end up doing a blade into this.
Cryptic is playing this very, very well. Even when they lose 1 or 2 members, they're not afraid to keep on fighting and either die on the point or die to or fight to control the space that they have, and they just playing off each other very, very well.
Yeah, and sometimes even getting 1 pick isn't necessarily a lost fight, especially if you're able to bring ultimates into it. You can certainly bring out Amanda's advantage. And they sort of, it's interesting how when they lose somebody, they get even more aggressive, which I think is sort of kind of the opposite of what people usually expect teams are going to do when they lose a member, so it makes it a little bit harder to counterplay that to begin with. But their aggression is also what's kind of working here. They're creating a surprising amount of chaos for this composition. I feel like this composition tends to be a little more predictable. Sort of the oinky oink. Blade coming out from Shirataki, able to get 2, and Aster is going to go down as well. That is 3 dead from Cryptic. So Ramen Renegade is going to be able to start progress on the point once again. But considering how far back that cart went, I'm pretty sure Cryptic would be able to recontest here if they wanted to.
Yeah, Cryptic's going to be able to contest very, very easily here.
That's what they're going to try to do as well, with the Kool-Aid guy already diving down to stop progress on the point. Able to recall to safety. High Noon comes out, gets
massive
2
High Noon coming out here.
Down. Absolutely massive from Cryptic. Incredible job. Orbit also taking out Shirataki. Gummy's Diva Bomb comes out, does not get anybody, but does bust out Dixie Norris the shield. It's really not going to be enough here. Overtime does tick down, but nobody on Ramen is here to recontest. So this is going to go the way of Cryptic. That's going to be Cryptic 2, Ramen Renegade 0.
Cryptic played that really, really smart. They they swapped to make sure that they 100% knew that they're going to come in for this recontest, sending in the Tracer distracting people in the backline very, very easily, and then nobody really knew how to answer the bunker once it came back for the recontest, and then McCree was just left to his own devices and was able to get a massive two-piece with his high noon there, and then took off the only sustain for Ramen Renegades there, and then they just had no more ultimates to try and follow up onto that fight because they had used the majority of their ultimates just to win that fight to even have a chance of capping first point.
This is why I'm also so sort of surprised that Ramen Renegade hasn't tried to run a bunker into this, because this is a very favorable composition, or sorry, a favorable map for bunker, and they're playing against a composition that could easily have a bunker comp played into it, and they probably would do very well. We saw some very creative bunker comps last season, and granted, part of that may have been because it was a favorable meta for running other things into bunker, and bunker hadn't quite reached the popularity that it has now, so we were seeing a lot of compositions that bunker did counter. But I don't know, I'm just really surprised that Ramen Renegade hasn't really gone back to their roots. The next map here is going to be Horizon Lunar Colony. This map is interesting. We can see a lot of different things here. I think it really just depends on what the teams are comfortable with, especially at this level. Comfort picks really are a thing. What do you think we're going to see, given what you know about these players?
100% on defense, we're going to be seeing bunker. I'd be surprised if Ramen Renegade didn't run their own bunker on defense at least. But bunker is going to be very, very strong here, and the best tool to probably try and break this bunker again, I'm going to say, is going to be your own attack bunker. It is a little bit awkward. People are very used to the idea that low mobility isn't what you want to have on an attacking position, but the defensive properties that bunker has when it's trying to push in and take a zone, control a zone, you know, makes up for its lack of mobility, and its instant pick potential that it has is going to be very, very strong on its side. So I think Ramen Renegade needs to play attack bunker here if they want a chance to be able to break this. They are going to be on defense this side, so they are going to have an ability to try and full hold this and give themselves a bit of a mental break and an energy and see that, hey, you know, we could win this, you know, we have the chance to win this map and then go on to the next one. But it seems like Cryptic has their number, and Cryptic has a better idea of the meta game right here as well.
Yeah, and Cryptic is a very coordinated team. My team has scrimmed against them a couple of times, and we've always had some problems with Cryptic. They're a good team, and Ramen is too. They did give people a lot of problems this past tournament season. But I think that they're just sort of playing a different game than they were before. And I think that that's starting to show. They also have different players than they did before. Players like Mayfun were doing really great. And we do have Udon back in now. Udon being one of the players from the roster in the previous tournament, who did some amazing plays and bringing out the Doomfist. It looks like we're getting Doomfist May here. See, this is the composition that I'm used to from Ramen. Unfortunately, they are an attack, so this probably doesn't mean anything. But they did play a lot of sort of off-meta things, which people didn't really know how to deal with. So I'm hoping that they at least bring out a little bit of the memes. It looks like we are getting a very standard double sniper bunker here from Cryptic. They're gonna have to probably run a counter bunker. And if they bring out the shield breaking heroes, I feel like they would probably win, given that they would win the shield break.
Yeah, Cryptic's composition is more focused on the instant pick potential, and if you can cut the distance, or you can prevent the sightlines of these snipers, it's going to make their job much, much harder. So you just need to focus on, you know, breaking out these shields. They're going to be trying out Hack Fist here, which has the potential to break this. They have to move very, very quickly, very, very fast, and they have to set up their DPS very effectively. But if Doomfist and Sombra can't get in, they're just going to die to bunker.
Yeah,
And
unfortunately,
Udon getting picked off here
immediately.
is yeah, this is a nail in the coffin very, very early here. They're playing smart enough to know that they have to reset very, very quickly. They forget that they can walk off the map, but dying very, very quickly here allow them a chance to come up with a better game plan, possibly swap heroes, but it doesn't look like they're going to. A little bit of thought and hesitation come from their side. Doomfist and Sombra, pretty decent matchups, especially versus a Widow. Doomfist struggles a little bit against Hanzo, but pretty much they just have to set up their DPS heroes. So the DPS heroes pushing in with the rest of the team isn't going to be very effective, and they're just going to take a bunch of damage. And Reinhardt's shield only has 2,000 HP, while Orissa's shield is on a cooldown instead. They can't cut the distance.
Yeah. And sort of what Hackfist, or I prefer Doombra personally, but what they do is they do a really good job of sort of building up a lot of chaos, which I think that they could benefit from if they're going to try to run it into this. Cryptic has been playing pretty methodically, especially with the double sniper. I want to see how they would respond if they're really getting hard pressured. But given the fact that Orbit has sightlines on Kool-Aid Guy and vice versa, it might make it a little bit harder for them because they've been hitting their shots. It looks like they are rotating back into the room trying to take this bunker head on. I honestly think they should do a rotation to the left instead and just go straight to the point. But they are coming up with some ultimates. They are going to be zoned out by this dragon. This dragon is going to bring out a lot of damage. They're going to have to heal up really quick here. Tamago just eating himself into the enemy team, able to take out Dix Enormous. Shatter's going to come out. Not really going to get much value here. But the Valkyrie is going to come out from Wolfbrick. Getting that out of the picture is pretty huge. Notorious's whole hog, though, is going to take out Udon and Tamago. So this is going to be a lost fight once again for Ramen Renegade. Ramen Renegade coming out with about a minute left. So given how long these fights have been lasting, we are starting to look at last fight territory here. We are not going to have Doomfist ult on the board yet, but we do have that EMP, and this EMP is honestly going to make or break their push here.
Yeah, and EMP doesn't really do a whole lot except possibly get a pick on the Zenyatta, but the Zenyatta's taking a very aggressive positioning here and is in the sightlines of both of his snipers, so there's not a whole lot that Sombra can do to try and get in on her. So they're just playing very, very smart.
Yeah, and unfortunately, the Lucio is going to be taken out here in the middle of his beat as well, so he's going to lose that, and Cryptic is just going to come in and just absolutely destroy this push. EMP did not come out yet, so it looks like Foe is getting in position to stand on point. They are invisible right now, so Cryptic is setting up once again. Orbit's kind of spy checking around, but eyes do come out, so Foe is just going to have to contest here. They're ready for EMP, and Doomfist is nano, so this is make or break for Ramen Renegade. Two go down, both healers. Grab comes out for Ramen Renegade. Doesn't really get much value. The EMP does get a lot of hacks, but unfortunately it does not get the Zenyatta, who brings out the Transcendence to keep everybody alive. Kool-Aid Guy and Orbit are out, but the kill feed is starting to show a lot more blue than red, so while Ramen Renegade does get a tick, that is all they are going to be able to get.
Still, because they did get that tick, this map is still very winnable for Ramen Renegades, but they have to have a perfect hold on defense here, and hopefully they play bunker here. Like this is the one point on one of the best bunker maps to play bunker. So
yeah, I'm honestly surprised that they haven't, especially since they really had a lot of fun with bunker in the previous season. I'm just going to be interested to see what they try to run here. I don't remember which player it was, but they did have a player that played a horrifically scary Mei, which obviously is not ideal for this point, but honestly just for the stall potential alone and their ability on that hero, stranger things have worked. Looks like
actually,
they are...
Mei's actually incredibly strong, especially in in bunker and here as well. Because of the massive amounts of point control that she provides, especially with her wall and ultimate itself. But pretty much you just need to just hit shots in order to build up those ults very, very quickly. But there's a lot of tools that that Mei can provide here if they do end up playing it.
Looks like Foe's not quite selected their hero yet. And with 10 seconds left, this is not ideal. Looks like they are going to bring the Ashe, but they are not going to be back in time for this attack to start. So this is going to put them at quite a disadvantage, missing that DPS. They're taking their long walk over. If Cryptic spots this, I think that they should just, they're running a Goats variant, so they might as well just run straight to that point. Looks like they're rotating around to their right side, all scouted out by that Hanzo arrow. We do give Foe enough time to come back. Dynamite yeeted in. Doesn't really get any burn off here. Goats is starting to rotate around and they are pressing W. They are getting ready to take on this bunker. It looks like Gummy does miss their hook here. So this is going to be a time for Cryptic to start pushing in. They're starting to press W and go down straight onto that point, sort of forcing this bunker to go contest, especially with only taking one tick. Tamago is going to be taken out by Morbid here, who is on the Reaper. Did not even notice the Reaper pick earlier. What a weird variant we're seeing right now. That's just going to be a very quick take. Horizon Lunar Colony is in the books. Cryptic with the 3-0 victory on Ramen Renegade.
Play of the game.
Pretty much, Cryptic kept themselves at an advantage every map, and then especially it was just an utter stomp on this attack here. They knew exactly what they needed to do, and Ramen Renegades was just late and played very, very scared.
They did, and I think that that's sort of what happened too, is losing that first map probably, you know, it adds a little bit of tilt, it adds a little bit of, I guess, wariness, and then losing that second map definitely is not good for the Spirits, and the fact that we do not have a halftime or anything, they have to go straight into that third map. They were definitely sort of scared to press W even after getting one pick, and they sort of needed to match that same aggression that Cryptic was providing. All right. So now is the wonderful time to talk about the caster MVP. And then for those of you who are in our stream chat, go ahead and we don't have the poll set up, so go ahead and just spam the name of whoever you think should take on viewer MVP. Who do you think stood out on the side of Cryptic?
For me, I wasn't even able to look at individually at the players. The team itself was very in sync and playing around each other very well. God, it's actually really hard to decide. I would just like to talk to Dix Enormous and see what they sound like. I don't know who's behind the name.
Who's behind the name, to give some credibility to picking Dix Enormous as the as caster MVP. I can't even say this with a straight face. Oh my god. I think that they provided a lot of value for this team. They were an incredibly aggressive main tank, and they were making a lot of plays for Cryptic.
Yeah, especially on Watchpoint Gibraltar first point on attack, their Winston was creating a bunch of space for the DPS heroes to be able to do, especially in spots to where Pharah is generally very poor. The amount of space that the Winston was able to create for the DPS heroes made Pharah's job much easier, and it made it much less likely for Pharah to be able to get pushed in. And the overall sight lines were really strong.
Yeah, I'm extremely impressed with the way that, honestly, this entire team played. I am hoping that they go into casting lobby. I'm gonna tell them again to go into the casting lobby if they want to have an interview with us. Yeah, I think that Dixonormous was a very flashy main tank, had a lot of wonderful plays. I do also want to point out the play from Orbit. Their Widow was really, really fantastic, and we saw that there were a few times when Orbit was sort of keeping the sightlines on the other players and able to get a lot of picks that kept the other players safe. I think that we especially saw this when we were watching their Pharah play. On Busan especially, they were able to keep their Pharah completely safe, and their Pharah was largely uncontested. So overall, I'm very impressed with Orbit's play as well. Looks like we're getting kind of equal spam for both Dixie-Normus and Orbit in the chat as well. So I do not see anybody but Orbit in the casting lobby, so why don't we bring them in for an interview?
Okay, then.
We'll just call them our overall MVP. The others missed out. Sorry, Dixie-Normus. All right, so Orbit, overall MVP. Let's bring him in. Hi, Orbit. Congratulations. You are our overall MVP for this match.
Thanks.
Congratulations. Your other team sort of threw by not going in the casting lobby, so we're just picking one MVP today to wrap it up. So it's you. So you can go ahead and brag.
All right, thank you.
So congratulations. You guys are a newer team on our server. Is this your first tournament playing together, or do you guys have a lot of experience?
No, we've played in like 2 other like just normal leagues like week to week, but this is the first time this team has done this tournament.
All right, so it's obvious that you guys have a lot of coordination then. You guys did a really fantastic job shutting down Ramen Renegade and taking this 3-0. You guys played a lot of bunker comp with double sniper. Is this sort of one of your comfort comps, or are there some other compositions that you would prefer to play, but it didn't come out in these maps?
We found that like just the halt hook combo, it like just gets a free pick every fight. Same with the double sniper. So we just use that to always have a numbers advantage, and it just drains so much time. Like especially on defense of Gibraltar. Like the Widow picks and the Hanzo picks and then the halt hook just delayed them so much.
Yeah, the old yoink and oink. Big fan of that one personally.
Yeah.
So what are all of your comms like then? Because it seems like you guys have a lot of coordination and every move is sort of methodical and purposeful. Is this how you guys play, or are your comms more absolute chaos?
They're kind of chaos, but like in between fights we're really good at like stopping the nonsense and just planning the next fight with like ult usage and ult tracking and all that.
I love it. Final, do you have any questions for them?
Not that I can think of. You guys seem to have a pretty decent understanding of how to play the meta, and especially at this SR level as well. You guys played off each other very, very well.
Yeah, I'm very impressed. My last question is just, your tank player, why the name?
Dixie-Normus?
Why would he make us say that like that?
I actually go to school with him, and he was trying to ask, like when he started playing, what his name should be. So one of my other friends said it as a joke, like to spell it like that, and he just stuck with it ever since.
Oh no.
Yeah,
right.
I'll let my other friend know.
Oh gosh, I can't handle it as a caster. It's really difficult to cast your games. All right, well, thank you so much for coming in for an interview. You did absolutely fantastic, well-earned victory, and you guys will have a well-earned rest. You do not have to play until, I believe, tomorrow. So really good job today, and we will see you in your next match.
All right, thank you.
All right, so that is going to be it for us. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in, even though Tantaku kind of threw this match. Thanks to the camera work, Tantaku. Our next matchup is going to be at 9 p.m. Eastern Time tonight between Trapezoidal Earth Society and Scandals. So make sure that you tune in to this super exciting matchup. Remember that this is a weekend tournament that spans over 2 weekends. So we will have games tomorrow, Sunday, at 3, 6, and 9 p.m. Eastern, and we will do the same exact schedule next weekend. So make sure to tune into those. Follow us on Twitch at WatchPointAlpha. If you miss these games, you can find these VODs on our Twitch or on our YouTube channel as well. And if you want to join the server and join our community and join our future tournaments, then you can find the Discord link right in our Twitch bio. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Finally, have any last words for our lovely viewers?
Stay frosty, my friends.
Stay frosty, my friends. All right, good night, everybody, and we'll see you all at 9 p.m.